News desk, and later on the program I'll bring you the live presentation of the 2014 mid-year budget review by Finance Minister Seth Terkper in Parliament. But just before we start that, bring you a compilation of some of the promises by President John Dramani Mahama since he assumed office. I'm sure you recall some of them, but here's what you might want to do: sit back, relax, and watch this.
You have to adjust tariffs to make it attractive, or else then you must find money in the budget to subsidize the electricity tariffs. And if you do so, how do you build the secondary schools that you promised the people? How do you provide the district hospitals? How do you provide the CHIPS compounds? So governance is a difficult business. Difficult decisions need to be taken, and the mark of leadership is you take difficult decisions when they need to be taken, and that's what I've done. I believe 2014 is going to be a good year.
I wish to assure this august House and the good citizens of Ghana that, as with the taste of any bitter medicine, this turbulence we are going through is temporary. And I assure you that we shall begin to see the benefits of the sacrifices we are making very soon. Financing has been finalized for the construction of a new sugar processing plant in Komenda. This would reduce our importation of sugar. We are also in discussion with another private investor about the establishment of another sugar processing plant in the northern region near Sablugu. I have tasked the Cocoa Board to enter into a strategic partnership to produce jute sacks in Ghana. This will begin by the importation of the jute fiber and the sewing of the sacks locally, but it will be eventually backward integrated into the production of kenaf and the weaving of the jute fibers locally. Mr. Speaker, when this is achieved, Cocoa Board will be required to halt the importation of jute sacks for cocoa and buy all its sacks from this factory.
Young people must be afforded the skills needed in order to find gainful employment. Proper health care must be available to all our people. These are not just nice statements to stand here and say. These are goals, realistic goals that we must strive every day to meet. Our people's lives depend on it. Ghana's future depends on it. For far too long, our people have been placated with promises of a better future. It is time to make good on those promises. If Africa's fortunes are indeed changing, then that prosperity must be reflected in all of its citizens, not just the wealthy and the privileged. Decentralization and the empowerment of local governments is a useful tool in the prevention of inequality. It is true that we still have a long way to go, but it is also equally as true that we have traveled a great distance, and that in the last few years alone, we have made significant strides. I recognize that the frustrations of coping with our current challenges have at times created the impression that we are adversaries. We are not. We are and will remain allies working together for a common cause.
Our population is increasing dramatically. We have a growing youth bulge. We're not creating jobs fast enough to absorb the growing numbers of graduating youth. Our social intervention and safety nets are not sufficient to cushion the poor and vulnerable. In many of our countries, the fruits of accelerated economic growth are not being spread equitably amongst our people. This is a tinderbox with a potential to elevate social tensions in our sub-region. Indeed, it's a powder keg with a potential to threaten the peace and security of our sub-region.
In this current phase of our development, we have been met with several obstacles and challenges, some of which we have resolved, and others of which we are still working to find the ways and means to overcome. It is not enough for me to say that I share many of the same disappointments and frustrations that have been expressed, though I do. And it is not enough for me to say that I have every faith in government's ability to meet the goals we have set for the country once these difficult periods are behind us. and I do. What I will, however, say is that as citizens of Ghana, I want the same safety and stability for my children's future that all of us want for our children. I want all of our children to have the same opportunities available to them to rise to their highest potential. I want all of our children to feel entitled to the habits of asking for more and be confident in the knowledge that that more can be attained. We have become a nation of pessimists. Every day we are bombarded with everything that is wrong with our nation, never with what we're doing right. It creates a national psyche that believes that no matter how we try or whatever we do, we cannot make our lives better, that we are consigned to poverty and misery. But definitely this cannot be the case. This cannot be true. We have made modest but significant success. We must celebrate these successes in order that we may be encouraged to achieve more. God put us together in this nation for a purpose. We have no other country but this one, and we must work together to make Ghana great and strong.